Good morning, and I want to give a warm welcome. We're here to fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. Now, I'm on another computer. My computer died 2 days ago, and I was using my young son's computer, but he needs it today because he's at college today. My older son gave me his computer, so I'm using that one. And hopefully, this will work. It's very hard when you go from computer to computer because the way that people set their computer up is totally different. My boys don't believe in Google Chrome as a browser, so I know that SteamYard works on Google Chrome. And anyway, I am on here live. I've been doing this live stream now for 18 months. That's a year and 5 months. Wow. Or a year and 6 months, I should think here. 12, 15, 13, 14, 15. And I want to welcome Child. Thank you for coming in. And I do have a computer. Am I coming through okay? Can you see me? Can you hear me? The last time yesterday, I said trouble with my sound. So hopefully that came in. And just before I was doing this computer, it decided to do an update. So I'm glad you're thankful, Child. I'm thankful I'm alive here. I'm here to help you all with a terrible government agency that I call the Child Protection System. It's a group of government entities in every county, in every state in the United States. And their purpose is to protect their children from neglect and abuse. They also are supposed to do family reunification, get the family together if there's a hiccup with one of the parents. Things can be corrected, and studies have shown that the best parents to raise children are the biological parents. Studies have shown time and time again the biological parents are the best. Now, not everybody's born knowing how to raise children. You learn from your parents, you learn from reading books, you learn from the internet maybe. They don't teach it in school like they used to. That's one of the areas of life skills that should be taught every day you're in school, whether you're in, preschool, preppy kindergarten, grades 1 through 5 in elementary school, middle school, grades 6 through 8, high school, grades 9 through 12, and even into college in your first 4 years. And if you go for a master's, it should be continuous. There's so many life skills that helps everybody. That people ask, why did I go to college? It's to learn life skills. You have to learn how to do a checking account, a savings account, how to get a credit card, how to get your DMV, things like bullying that happen in elementary school, even in preppy K or kindergarten, bullying, also talking to strangers. There's so many life skills out there. And one of them is CPS. And that's the one that I'm trying to tell you from my experience and from talking over 1,000 people. Yes, 1,000 people. I've talked to 21 countries and all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. And the countries have been Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, up in the Middle East to Saudi Arabia and Libya, then over to Africa, to Liberia, to Sudan, or to Rwanda, to Mozambique, and then to several provinces in South Africa. Then up to Europe, England, Scotland, and Wales, and Denmark and Sweden. Then over to North America across the pond, Canada, 4 provinces there, the United States, all 50 states, and the District of Columbia. Then south of the border, Mexico, and then in South America, north of Brazil, on the East Coast, Grenada. then across the South Pacific to New Zealand, and then to Australia, the 2 states there in Australia. And that is a wide range of people. That's over 1,000 people. And it seems like they'll have something in common. They're attacked because of low income, because they know that they can't afford an attorney. And I'm talking about the child protection systems. They know that. And it's sad to say that in amongst the child protection systems, there are rogue child protection systems that found out money is more important than families or children. So it's $1 trillion business. $1 trillion is spent in the United States. I don't know how much worldwide, but $1 trillion, not billion, not million. And there's a lot of wasteful spending. There's a lot of embezzlement among social workers. There's 3 or 4 cases going right now, embezzlement, where the money was spent by a social worker. It's sad. It's sad with the corruption in CPS. And those same individuals are, breaking up our family, taking our children and trafficking them into foster care. It is corrupt. It is corrupt. I know firsthand because I too experienced CPS at its worst. And my case was hard. It was really hard. Unfortunately, in the year 2010, I lost my job through no fault of my own. The state of California was going through hard times and needed my contracts that they awarded to me. Before I could start the construction contracts, it was about $63 million worth that they had to use that money to keep California afloat. So they wrote me IOUs. And it was illegal because those are public funds. They can't use public funds for what they're doing. But the owner of my company did not want to sue them. So I tried to get a credit line, but the banks were very leery. So I couldn't get a credit line. So then I had to close our doors. And I suddenly was faced with tremendous house payments because I had a beautiful home close to the beach. And, I needed money to live on. And my expenses in California, as you know, California is the most expensive place to live. And I thought because of my young age, I'd be able to find work again. But at age 60, you're considered a dinosaur. I'm 75 now, so I must be an ancient dinosaur. But I can't work. I have found some jobs since 2010. But my last job, they weeded me out because they thought I was too old. So they made an excuse. And I was let go. Now, the kind of work I was doing to make money was construction work. I worked as sales and as an estimator, a senior estimator. Then I also did project managing, a senior project manager. I've been an operational manager. And then lately I was a inspector, a senior inspector, inspecting the job with all my background. And that was a good job. And I was able to somehow pick up my family, but it didn't last for long. It lasted a little over a year. So I'm out there looking again. And so what I'm trying to do right now is to help you, because during all this turmoil, I unfortunately got involved in CPS. Yes, they took me down. How it started was a lay person was calling into CPS every week. Actually, several lay people. They were my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, 3 sisters, and a brother. And once a week, they'd call in and make up stories that weren't true. And I'd meet CPS, I'd show them my home and everything. And they say, well, we just don't see what they're talking about. We'll go ahead and stop. But they didn't stop, because every time you call in, they have to investigate. They have to take every lay person like they're telling the truth. You're guilty before you're proven innocent. It's the only court of law that you're guilty before you're proven innocent. You're not innocent till you're proven guilty. And they do really terrible things. They think they immediately have to take your children into custody. They weren't in danger. In fact, I blew it. I didn't know about these rules I came up with. You're not supposed to talk to social workers or the police. Don't let them in your home. Don't answer the door. Don't surrender your children. I did all the mistakes. So it was a terrible, terrible thing. They immediately took my children because they thought they were in immediate danger. They weren't. One was in a private high school, the other one was in a middle school, and the other one was in elementary school. Now, I'm a loving father. I have 6 children I've raised. 3 are older, and my older ones were escaped this nightmare. But they have children of their own. They're doing very successful in life. I know I'm a good father, and the mother's a good mother. And we have for 32 years trying to make a life together as best we can. Now, I have 42 years of marriage experience. I had a previous wife that left. I didn't like the idea of leaving, but she wanted to leave. Anyway, I want to share these experiences with you and help you all. And child is from LA County. She's a part of a family that is ongoing fighting CPS. Their attorney is Vincent Davis. And she comes on as well as the father. And they pray a lot on this show. So I thank you for your prayers. So there's a ticket scrolling on the bottom of my screen. And it's very important you support our channel. We have different levels of support, and you get different things, the level of support. And we have to ask for support because it's hard, because StreamYard does cost money and so forth. Anyway, please send your support to keep us afloat with attorney Vincent W. Davis. It says send here to this phone number for a Cash App, Apple Pay, or Zelle. Zelle will work, Cash App, and so forth. So that will remain on the bottom of the screen. There's also a newsletter we're starting, and to subscribe to it's $1.99. $1.99 for a newsletter. They'll have stuff that I'll put in it. Vincent Davis, who's my attorney, will put in there. And I've mentioned his name several times. So I want to thank Mr. Davis for producing this live stream and taking care of us. It's really good. Now, he is also a CPS fighter. He is an attorney in juvenile law, dependency law, and family law. He has been fighting CPS for 39 years. He's a foster victim himself. He was once in foster care. So he knows foster care, and I hate to say it, there are bad foster care as well as CPS. Not all foster care, not all CPS are bad, but at least over 1,000 of them are. Every state has many counties, like California probably has 500 counties. That means there's an individual government entity. Now, Congress passed a law in 1962 that the social services would protect their children from neglect and abuse. So they created the child protection system. The systems have different names, like in LA County in California, it's Department of Children and Family Services. In Orange County next door is Department of Children's Services, CPS. In Prescott, Arizona's Department of Children's Services, DCS. And in Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So whatever the names are, they're child protection systems, and every state's got one. And hopefully you don't encounter the bad one. I did in Orange County. That was really, it was terrible. Terrible how they lie. They, abuse funds. They abuse our children. They put them in foster care that is not good. There's bad foster care out there. Now, I do have a regular that comes on our show. Her name is Betty Jo, and she's a foster care mom, and she's from Montana. And she's a good mother. I remember a while back, she took in a boy that lost his family to a car accident on a Friday night, and she took that boy and looked after that boy until he was adopted by another family member. But he still would call Betty Jo to tell him that he's all right or what he's doing. So I know that Betty Jo's the kind of foster care mom you'd like to have. Too many of them abuse children in their care, and their children that they have abused the foster care children. It's sad. And they're in it for the money. They're not in it to really help. Anyway, I know that you may have a question or two, and I hope you do. Ask me. There are several ways to participate in this live stream. One way is to text in a comment or a question about your CPS case. Please state your first name, your city, or your county, state, and yes, country if you're from outside the country. All countries are welcomed here. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from the beginning to where you're at. So that is one way that you can. Another way is to be a guest. And I hope some of you are a guest on my show. To be a guest on the live stream, please email our show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com with the date and time you want to be on our show. Now, I thank Grace. She's our producer that works behind the scene. Her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. grace@vincentwdavis.com. All you have to do is give her the time and the day you want to be on our show. Now, I'm on twice a day, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m., and then Saturday at 8 a.m., and then in the evening, Monday through Sunday at 7 p.m. Now, these times are based on the West Coast of California, Pacific Standard Time. And so those are the times that I'm on. Now, there will be other times that I may change that, like this weekend coming up. I know Saturday and Sunday, the evening shows are going to start at 8 instead of at 7. I'm still working on the morning shows. But I'd like to hear from you. And it's so easy to be a guest because I can take 9 guests at one time, and you all can be talking and help one another and help the people in the room. So think about being a guest. And lastly, I put my phone number up, and I'd love to hear you call in. My phone number is 626-698-0990. And that's the direct line to my office phone. There's another phone number on the screen, 888-888-6582, and that's the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. If you want to hire Vincent Davis, right now you can call him, and the reception will get you connected with him. Also, at that number, you'll get reception, so make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And then They will help you with other things, like if you want to know the schedule of people's live streams, like my live stream or Vincent Davis's live stream. There's a lot of us that do live streams, so they can give you the schedule there. Also, if you need a particular book, our newest book out is called The Grandparents Step-by-Step Guide for Getting Guardianship of their grandkids. So that's a real important book to get, and it's $9.99, but you can get half off if you use my discount code of PACE, PACE, all capital letters, with the number 50 after it. So that's PACE 50, PACE 50, all capital letters. And it gives you 50% off on that book. Now, there's another place that I can give you too. That you can get that guide. All you have to do is go to the stand.store. Now, don't forget to put the HTTPS : / in front of stand.store / Attorney Vincent WD. On there, you'll find packages of CPS packages with Vincent Davis, and you'll find books and so forth. It's a good resource site. So I put that up there to you. Now, being a guest on my live stream or calling in, you get a bonus where you can talk to Mr. Davis for 15 minutes. Now, being a guest or calling in, you get a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. What that means is that he'll talk to you via Zoom in a one-on-one conference about your case for a free 10 minutes. Make a list of things you want to ask him and prioritize them so you get your questions answered. Also, if you want longer than 15 minutes, I have a package I've created with Vincent Davis. For $60, you get a 30-minute Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis, care of me. All you do is go to this website called candidly.com / apps, VWD / Bob Pace, and you'll get, you will see it there. You register with your credit card, pay the $60, and you get set up. So that's the second way. I'm going to put my number back. Oh, there's one other website that's important. It's called the HTTPS //vincentwdavis.com. It's his home website. There's a lot of information on there, and you should look at that also. So I've given you a bunch of websites, and that is great. I'm going to put my number back up. And if you need those websites, I can show them from time to time. But I think it's important to have my number up so people can call in. And I really like people to call in and talk about subjects, That's always very, very important. So now we have my number up. I've told you what you can do about this room, and now let's talk about some topics. And right now, all I have is child talking, and I have about a half a dozen people in the room. I'd love to have you ask me questions. For instance, if you want to know about the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, that's for Native American Indians. Or maybe you want to know how to do a 388 hearing. Or maybe you need to know what a 380 motion. And then maybe you want to know what a 160 hearing is or a 180 hearing. There's lots of topics we could talk about, and that's what I'd love to do, is to help you and be specific to your needs, your wants and stuff. So please text me something you'd like me to hear or call in and we can talk about things there. This is so frustrating when you're on someone else's computer. I'm looking for Google, but it doesn't have Google here. I don't understand why, but okay. Google, nothing there. All right. Wow. That didn't help me anything. All right. Whoops. What happened there? Oh, okay. That's interesting. I learned something every time, even though I've done this for a long time. I'm trying to get it so that I can research. Let me see. It's got to be this one here. Okay, there's a new tab. So Google. All right, so now oh boy, we got to spell it out. There's one thing when you search it. Let me see what I can find here. Well, Minnesota has just introduced a comprehensive foster care youth bill. Let's see what that's about. Advocates seeking to codify the rights of foster youth in Minnesota are hoping a last-minute push to have the bill considered by lawmakers will result in its passage before the legislative quickly approaches deadline. Crafted by Minnesota Office of the Foster Youth Ombudsperson less than a year after the Watchdog's official opening, the Foster Youth Booth seeks to enshrine more than 150 rights into law. Some already exist under the current law, others entirely new. The proposed legislation, which results from months of gathered input from those who grew up in the state child welfare system, includes everything from children's right to physical safety and to privacy and the rights to make decisions about their own health care and staying connected in their family of origin. Empowering the state's roughly 6,200 300 foster youth with a clear understanding of the prosecution and rights of which they're entitled in the intention behind the effort, this advocate says. We hear from fosters of all age saying, I didn't know about my rights. And I agree with you. Nothing, foster care won't inform a child of their rights. We want to avoid a continuation. We want to avoid a continuation that we want to make sure that the foster youth Bills of Rights is given to foster when they enter care and then on a regular basis. Knowledge is the power. The more you know about your rights, the more yourself can speak about them. If passed, this bill will allow Minnesota to join at least 15 other states that have bills of rights for foster youth, formalized into law. But this week, advocates admitted the bill faces a big hurdle to being passed before the current legislative session ends on May 19th because of its late introduction and compelling legislative demands. Even so, Democratic Senator Mary Cush, the bill's lead author, is continuing to push it, said Jack Vitt, a spokesman for the Democratic Party. This just being a really common sense, no nonsense bill that hopefully everybody can get behind, Cush says. If it fails to move forward this year, legislators could consider it next year without the need to reinstate it. That's kind of discouraging that they may not. Before becoming a state senator, Kenneth was a teacher for 25 years and worked with all kinds of families, including foster families. One strength of the bill, she said, is It's 2 pages of definition for words like abuse, belongings, clean, consent, cultural appropriate, harassment, and privacy. It's really important that we codify not only the vocabulary in the meeting, but also create what the basic expectation is around the needs and the resources every child in foster care should be proceeding. The Minnesota bill builds on patchwork of existing statutes and regulations that ensure foster youth right to safety. In Minnesota, that's not a solid shared understanding of what the bare minimums are. Some of the things in is how are not brand new. It's really about how we can get on the same page so the foster youth, no matter where they are, no matter who is managing a case, are at the same starting point. Every idea that contributes to the bill came from someone who spent time in the child welfare system, including Penelop and Kunis said, a team of more than 24 youth advocates, law school students, foster parent representation, and state officials then spent months shifting through the reams of the feedback and ideas. Lexi Borson, who entered foster care at the age of 15, began working on the Bill of Rights where she was finishing her master's degree in public policy at the University of Minnesota. Now an outreach and engagement specialist at the Ombudsper's office. She was responsible for leading a series of foster groups with foster youth across the state to learn more about what they wanted to see included. A lot of the themes, including getting access to resources, knowledgeable about the resources that are available. But said we are often not told what's available when we're in care. When she was a teenager, Rawson didn't know anyone else in foster care other than her younger siblings. There was no one to go to her for advice or how to maneuver the system. She didn't realize, for instance, what she had access to. Resources like the Chaffee funds, federal grant money to assist foster youth transition to adulthood. She says, and it wasn't until she was already in college she learned about basic information no one had ever told her about, such as needing a credit score to secure an apartment. Yep. Other themes that emerged in the focus group, she said, were the desire to know about the forms of resources available to children have been harmed in foster care, the right to stay connected to achieve families of origin and friends. Ace Golf, one of the several focus group participants who advocates for the inclusion of protection around the culture-based hygiene. Golf recalled from homes where she didn't have access to her care products for Black girls and women. She needed those products to care for her hair, but didn't feel she had a right to ask for them, she said. When you go into that type of care, you're not clear about what you should tolerate, Golf says. My mindset was like, it could always be worse. Under the Proposition Bill of Rights, the hygiene and the hair products are classified as basic needs, protective hairstyling services, and lotion, shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, also listed as a culture connection there. So this foster bill is pretty interesting from Minnesota. What I want to do is go back and see if there's another thing. Oh boy, here's another one. Moment here. Let me go ahead and go back to my StreamYard. Where did it go? Oh no. Oh no. I've lost my StreamYard. Tessie 1 2. Somehow, I don't know. Did you hear me talk about the case of foster care in Minnesota? I don't know what happened to my StreamYard, but I'm trying to use another format here, and it doesn't really tell you what to do to get pages on there. But I was talking about the news, and I thought I could open up one tab or another tab, but I don't know how to open tabs on this one at all. Um, Child, do you hear me? Hello, child. Can you hear me? Child, can you answer me? Do you hear me? Okay, so you hear me. All right. Did you hear me talk about the foster care bill in Minnesota? Do you hear me talk about the foster care bill in Minnesota? I went to the web page, but I think I also left the StreamYard. I don't know if you heard me or not. Did you hear me talk about the foster care bill that's being passed in Minnesota or trying to get passed in Minnesota? Hello, child. Do you hear me? Hello, child. All right. Let me see here. Oh boy. Okay, I'm trying to find some topics. I'm trying to use my phone, and so that way I can research it. Um, whoops, why did I get removed? Now that is weird because why is my picture wrong size now? Huh. Okay, there I go. Somehow, this computer, you barely touch something, something happens to it. I have had nobody call in, and I have a little trouble with my computer I'm using without losing SteamYard. And I've not heard from Child. I've been asking Child some questions, so I know if Child's here or he's gone elsewhere. I could go ahead and review my rules. I have 5 of them. The first rule is you need to hire an attorney, and you need to do so quickly. Without an attorney, you're doing open heart surgery yourself. Fighting CPS is a lot like open heart surgery. So you got to be careful there. But getting an attorney is hard because it takes money. And that's what a lot of us don't have. Now, I got my attorney by selling my house. I don't recommend it to anybody. I'd worked 45 years to get my house, and I needed to hire an attorney. So I made the decision that I'd quick sell my house to get the money really fast. Only trouble is quick sell. I lost $1 million, meaning my house was reduced to its original value when I purchased it, which was a low amount. Anyway, I needed the money because I need to hire an attorney. Now, in LA County, the retainer for LA County is $5,000 for Vincent Davis. His hourly fees are $500 an hour. And that sort of tells you up front. So the further the case is further away, the higher it gets. And a lot has to do with the per diem, meaning that he goes out state, he's got to go for his airfare, his ground transportation, his hotel, and food. Now, you need to find three quotes. Now, I'm going to give you one. That's Vincent Davis. I just gave you one. I gave him his retainer, his hourly wages there. Uh, Also, you need to talk to him to develop your chemistry and also to check out three references. It's a multi-step process, but it can be done in a couple days. You search on the internet. My rule number 4 is use the internet wisely by the placement of the words. You start off with the city, the state, then you put the letter CPS, and then you put juvenile law, family law, dependency law, attorney, and a bunch of them will come up. Then from that group, you have to pick two there. He's already told you have Vincent Davis. So you pick two, you make two important phone calls. Your first call is to ask if he is a juvenile law, family law, dependency law attorney that has fought CPS and got back children. Now, if the answer to that question is yes, then you go to the next question. And the next question is, have you ever sued CPS in both state and federal court? That means after the case is closed, have you ever done a civil lawsuit in state or federal court and won money back? If the answer to that is yes, then that is the attorney that you're going to call and talk further. You're going to see the chemistry and get the retainer and so forth. Once you got all three, including my own attorney, then you can compare and you can ask yourself which attorney would fight best for you. Now, a lot of you still are going to sit there and say, I want to use my court appointed attorney. It's Russian roulette. It really doesn't go along really easy. In fact, you have a chance to lose a lot of money too. But after you make the calls, you talk to Mr. Davis, and you can talk to him for free right now. Either call in or be a guest on my live stream here. And once you talk to Vincent Davis and the other two, then you make your mind and tell your mind which one you want to go for. Which one you want to go for. Now we have about 5 minutes left. Now, one of my listeners that has been doing like fighting a case has shared some of his comments, and I'd like to share it with you all there. He's working so hard. He's been a guest on my show, but he's trying to do an appeal process. Let me see if I can get his name here. He has so many. His name is Luis Perez, and he's doing a appellate appealing in the Supreme Court of California, and he is trying to do a appeal under California Civil Code, and he has put together a lot of information, a lot of hard work of his appeal process, and they're accepting it because he's giving me copies of everything he's done. He's shown pictures of his desk, how he sets things out, and he shared everything. So he's trying to draft a motion to recall, remit, or verify what the Supreme Court actually did. So he's done a lot of work, this gentleman has. Anyway, I have right now less than a minute. It is now 11 o'clock, and I'm going to have to end my live stream. I want to thank all of you that come in here. I miss you, the ones that didn't come in, but hello, child from LA. That was nice that you're in my room and so forth. Now, I'll be again on tonight at 10 a.m. Excuse me, 10. Excuse me, I'll be on tonight at 7 p.m. Now, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock instead of 7. And on the mornings, I get at a confirmation time. I want to come on at 4 o'clock in the a.m. So I haven't got that time for tomorrow. But I'll let you know tonight. Please come back tonight and check tonight. Don't forget to keep fighting for your kids. They're very important. Don't give up on them. And I know it's a hard decision you're making, but you will eventually get your kids back. It's a long process. And I want to thank you all for coming to my live stream. God bless you all. And this is Bob Pace saying, uh, signing off.